Authentic and natural English.
I have to take a walk. 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 Now, if you pay attention to this sentence and the two different ways that I said it, you're going to notice that one of them sounds more natural, more fluent. But why is it that it happens? That's what we're going to take a look at in today's video. So English is not only about the words that we say, but also how we say it. It's important for us to pay attention to the fact that English, well, we can have, in this particular case, we're going to take a look at two different types of languages. We have syllable-based languages and we have stress-based languages. This means that these languages, they're going to approach sound differently. For languages that are syllable-based, for example, my first language, Brazilian Portuguese, it states that in order for me to speak with clarity, it's important for me to make sure that each syllable has an equal level of importance when I say it. So if I say, eu preciso ir caminhar, eu preciso ir caminhar, of course, that sometimes we can shorten the sounds, especially when we are in a more colloquial or more kind of informal situation. But what we are saying here is that if I were to include more words in the sentence, it would take a longer period of time for me to say it because every syllable needs to have its sound pretty much heard by the other person. Now, English functions differently. English is what we call a stress-based language. So when we're thinking about the rhythm of the English language, we're thinking about the fact that there are some sounds that are more pronounced, they are stronger when we are speaking, and they also sound a lot clearer when we are listening. The other sounds that we have in the middle, they tend to drop, which sometimes makes it much harder for us to think about the fact of, for example, when we are listening to a video or someone talk and we cannot necessarily pay attention to the exact preposition that they say, because the preposition, it's almost inaudible. We can almost not hear it in this particular case. So the reason why this happens, just for us to recap, is that English is a stress-based language, meaning that we are going to have some sounds that we're going to stress and all the other ones are going to drop and become a lot shorter. So let's take a look at some examples for that. So the first example that we can have there would be for the idea of make a mistake. Okay, let's look at that example in particular. Make a mistake is a very common combination of words that we have in the English language. Also, it's a very specific type of collocation. When we have the noun mistake, the verb that we are going to associate with it is the verb to make. So a collocation here, it's important for us to understand what collocations are because they are going to help us practice the idea of a stress-based language. So the more, let's say, the grammatical term that we have here for us to think about are collocations. They are words that often appear together. So we have make a decision, strong coffee, pay attention, etc. There are some combinations of collocations that are very important for you to study, and you can find all that information in the course The World of Words that we sell here at Second Nature English. There's a big list, there's a long list of words that you have there to think about that in that particular course. But here, what's important for us to consider is that collocations are words that often appear together and they usually have some grammatical combination that we are going to do, for example, adjective and noun. Additionally to that, we're also going to consider the word chunk. Chunk is a small group of words that are often spoken together naturally. So every time that I have a sentence, I do have some groups of words that they are much more likely to be pronounced together. So it's important for us to understand what is a chunk, what is a collocation, and also the idea here, maybe if you do have some lessons of advanced grammar, to understand what a phrase is as well. Identifying what a phrase is, what collocations are, and therefore what chunks are in the language are really going to help us make decisions. What is it that we should and what is it that we shouldn't stress? So let's take a look at that. So when we are thinking about the words that we have to stress when we speak, the first one that we're going to think about are content words. So nouns, main verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. And then function words like articles and prepositions, they are going to be unstressed. So I don't necessarily say make a decision, I would say make a decision. So the is not necessarily taking a longer period of time for me to say. So when we're thinking about that on the idea of collocations, make sure that when we are stressing, the sounds that we are stressing are mainly content morphemes, or they're what we call content words. All right? So think about this, the fact that when we are saying a sentence or a group of words together, the natural speech means that I'm not going to separate those in a sound. So I need to make a decision. I'm not going to separate and say I need to make a decision, because this indicates that I'm thinking about the words word by word, and then I'm going to make a break between make and decision, when the reality is that that's a very common combination. So in order for you to speak English naturally, it's very important that you understand that we must think about chunks that could be collocations, phrases, or words that naturally go together. And when we pronounce them, we must pronounce them together in one breath. It's important that we don't separate chunks. Now, let's take a look a little bit on some practice tips to think about chunk, how to pronounce chunk, and how is it that we can find the rhythm of the English language. And how can you practice this particular stress? So if you are part of our online community, and I'm going to leave the link here in the description, you will have access to an exclusive video where I have 35 sentences for you to practice, divided into different categories. So with those sentences, you can practice shadowing or you can practice mirroring. So if I say, I need to catch a bus because I'm running late, I need to catch a bus because I'm running late, there are very specific words that I'm stressing to making sure that I'm pronouncing and I have a natural rhythm for the language. So I have this exclusive video. I'm going to leave at the end of this video a little bit of a sneak peek so you can take a look. And if you're interested, you can join the community so you can have access to all the exclusive content. But now let's go to our recap. So we learned that English is a stress-based language, so mastering chunking and collocations is key to sounding fluent. We need to focus on content words and use collocations to guide our stress patterns. Now, what it's good for you to do also, make sure that maybe you have a notebook with you where you have a collocation journal, or practice stress when you watch a movie. Try to repeat what people say and tell me, put it in the comments. What are the collocations that you are practicing? Share them with the comments. I'll be happy to take a look. And now a little sneak peek to the content that we have in the community. So let's get started with number 1. I need to make a call before I start my day. I need to make a call before I start my day. And now for the category of leisure and entertainment. 11. We should watch a movie and order some pizza. We should watch a movie and order some pizza. Now for the category relationships and socializing. Number 26. We should catch up over dinner tonight. We should catch up over dinner tonight. For the category challenging situations. I'll face the problem and find a solution. I'll face the problem and find a solution. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.